Today, as promised, because we raised a bunch of money, we are going to do a tier list for Avatar: The Last Airbender. Found this online, so I've got the cover art for each episode listed here. I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna rate them. That should actually be up there. S, A, B, or D. So we're gonna do that, and then you guys can all disagree with me because I probably won't agree with all of you. Alright, first one, Boy and the Iceberg, classic first video. This is an amazing episode, so it's going into S because that's what started the whole series off. It was amazing. Next up, The Avatar Returns. This one was a little bit boring. Like, it wasn't bad, but that's the one where we saw Zuko show up. And it was fun and all, but it's hard to top the first one, so I'm going to give this one a B. Next up, we go to the Southern Air Temple. Ooh, this one is really sad because it's... So first of all, we find Momo, and then it's also where we find out that all the airbenders are dead. It was really emotional and really sad, and we get to see Aang in the Avatar state, I think, for the first time. So this is going to get a solid A. Next up, we get to the Warriors of Kyoshi. This one is a classic. Classic S, especially when Sokka gets his butt kicked. This one is just so much fun. I love this episode. Next, we come to the King of Omashu. Ooh, this is where we meet Boomy, and this one is so much fun. We're like skating around in the mail carts. That one is just amazing. So this one has to be S. I think we're going to see that we're going to get a lot of S's just because of how phenomenal the show is. Alright, next up, Imprisoned. That is where Katara works hard to free all of the Earthbenders. This one was kind of boring, I'll be honest. It didn't advance the plot that much. Sure, it did some world building, but it wasn't amazing. So I'm going to give it B tier. Next up, we have the Winter Solstice, part 1 and 2. For part 1, for part 1, that was kind of interesting, but it was just another story that sort of helps build up part 2, which is plot building. I'm going to give it another B tier. Winter Solstice Part 2. This one is amazing because we get to learn about the comet and really where the whole show is going. And we get to meet Roku. I think the first part is a little boring and it was really dragged out with Part 1 to Part 2. So I'm going to give it an A tier. Alright, next up we get to the Waterbending Scroll. Ooh, that one was interesting, but it wasn't my favorite. Like, I think it serves the plot a lot and helps do a lot of really great character development. But I'm going to say, like, it was good, but it wasn't amazing, so I'm going to give this a B tier again. Next up, we get to Jet. I really didn't like this episode. I know some people might really like Jet or the character or the episode, but again, it just felt like a filler episode to build up another character who we're not going to see for a long time, so I'm going to put this one into C tier. Next, we get to the Great Divide. That one... Ooh... That one I think is pretty similar to Jet. It's just more traveling, and sure we're having people get along and we get to learn that Aang is a good person and he's sort of getting people to agree. But it was just more boring traveling for me, so I'm going to have to give it C again. Next we get to the Storm. That one, that we get to learn a little bit more about Aang and Zuko and their past, so it was really good for world building. In terms of the plot, it wasn't the most interesting episode, so I'm going to put it into B tier. Alright, the Blue Spirit. That one, ooh, that's a lot of fun since it creates the mystery of the Blue Spirit. And of course they're sick and it's the frogs, and that's a really fun episode. So I'll give it an A for being a lot of fun. Next we get to the Fortune Teller. Ooh, that episode was so much fun because it's about the future and the volcano and stopping it, and you just get to see how awesome they all really are. And we get to see, I think, Aang and Katara, so I think, not entirely, but we sort of get to see them introduced. So that was a lot of fun. Definitely an S tier episode. Then, we're going to get to Botto of the Water Tribe. So that one, I think, is... Sorry. Alright. I'll have to cut this out. I'll be back in a minute. Hey, what Alright, and we're back. So Botto of the Water Tribe, that one, it was a pretty boring episode, but we get to see more interaction between Zuko and Aang, and we also get to see Aang sort of betray his friends so that they wouldn't go away, which is just really great character development. So I'm going to give this an A for character development. Alright, next up, the Deserter. Let's see, oh, that's where they meet the Firebender. Oh, that was amazing, because we get to see Aang using fire, and he's really impatient. So I think that really the plot and character building with Aang here is just really phenomenal, even though he doesn't learn it. So I'll put that one up into S tier. Then we get to the Northern Air Temple. This one, it was pretty interesting because we got to see the Fire Nation sort of attack. The Air Temple once they were there, and we got to see the flying people. Personally, I found it somewhat boring, but it was a really good episode, so I'll give it an A tier. Next up, we get to the Waterbending Master. Ooh, that one, that was pretty good. I like the whole sequence in the North Pole. We get to see Katara standing up to, I forget his name, Paku, I think? Because he wouldn't teach her because she was a woman. So we got to see her stand up to him, which was really amazing. So I'm going to put that into S tier. It was a really great sequence. Then we get to the two parts of the Siege of the North Pole. Both of these are amazing. We get to see the attack happen. We get to see the fallout and how they're stopping it. And then we see Sokka's moon girlfriend, I forget her name, sort of turn into the moon. So I'm going to put both of these into S tier. We're getting a lot of S tier, again, because the show is amazing. Alright, that's all of Season 1. Let's jump into Season 2 now, or Book 2. Alright, so the first one, we have the Angry Earth guy who wants to put Aang back into the Avatar state. It was interesting, but it wasn't the most exciting episode. So I'll put it into A just because of the plot and character development. Then we get to the Cave of Two Lovers. Oh my gosh, this is where we get the classic secret tunnel. Secret tunnel. So this episode is amazing. I love this one so much. Its S tier would be higher if we could put it there. Alright. Then we get the return to Amashu. Ooh, this was a fun episode because we get to see they're setting the people free. There's Zula, there's all the characters. This one is another masterpiece. Alright, then we get to the swamp. This one, again, bit of a filler episode. I didn't love this one. They're sort of around there, meeting people, and stuff's happening, but I didn't love it. It's gonna have to go in C tier. Next up, we come to Avatar Day. Oh, this was fun. I mean, it was a filler episode before we meet Toph in the next one, but this was a lot of fun because, you know, they were having the party for the Avatar and then they just burn it down, and gets to prove that he's, you know, he can redeem Kyoshi. So it was good, wasn't the best. I'll give it a B tier. Then we get to the Blind Bandit. This one, automatic S tier because we get to see Toph and earthbending, and it is just overall amazing. Then we get to Zuko alone. I didn't love this episode. I know it's a lot of character development, especially because he has a lot of internal struggle at this point in the show, but it didn't take the plot very far, and it wasn't super interesting. So I liked it, but I'm gonna have to put it into B tier. Next up, we get to the chase. This one was very repetitive. It was fun to see that they weren't sleeping and that they were just being chased the whole time. But again, not much plot advancement. Sure, we get to learn about the characters, and Azula's a bit of a problem. But I wasn't in love with this one, so I'm going to put it into B tier again. Then we get to Bitter Work. Ooh, this is where Aang learns earthbending. This is amazing. I'm going to put it into S tier just because of that. Yeah, the fact that he can learn earthbending and do it now. It's amazing. I know it was tough, but he got it. Next up, the library. Oh boy. This one, that owl gave me nightmares as a child. The guy who lived in the library and kept it. And they learn about the eclipse, which is really great for plot advancement, but just because of the nightmares, it's going to go into A instead of S tier. Next, we get to the desert. Here's where, oh yeah, Aang's searching for Appa, and it's very sad, and we get the cactus juice in the mushroom. Maybe it's a friendly mushroom. Oh my gosh, I am in love with this one. This one has to go into S tier just for that. Alright, then we get to the Secret of the Fire Nation. So here's where they learn about the drill, and when they're trying to make it to Ba Sing Se, they go through the Serpent's Pass, and overall, really super interesting. And then there's the mom who's giving birth. This one was just packed with a lot of stuff. So I'll have to put this one into S tier. Next up, actually, did I miss one? I don't think so. Oh, Secret of Fire Nation is part 2. So here's the drill, Secret of Fire Nation part 2. Again, S tier. The drill sequence was just amazing, especially when they blow it up at the end. Just phenomenal. Alright, City of Walls and Secrets. I really don't like the Ba Sing Se politics. I know it's nice to see that it's all screwed up, but like, and the things aren't that great there. But I just wasn't in love with the city or what was going on. It's a lot of politics in a show that's designed to be mostly action. So that's gonna have to go into B tier for me. Next we get to Tales of Ba Sing Se. I know we have I think Iroh has his what's it called? His like memorial. It's very sad, but it's just sort of jumping around. It's another filler episode, so it's gonna have to go into B tier for me. Next up, we get to Appa's Last Days. Oh, this one was amazing, especially for Appa's character development and for Aang, especially just because how sad it is and how emotional. So I'm gonna put it into S tier, just because of how awesome that is. Alright, then we get to Lake Laogai. Yeah, Lake Laogai. This one was a lot of fun because we get to see all the crazy stuff that's going on in Ba Sing Se, and it's really great build up for the end of the season. Even though this episode itself wasn't super exciting, it can go into A tier. Alright, then we get to the Earth King. Oh, they finally get to meet the Earth King, and he's just like this random dude sitting there. But I'm glad they got through to him, which was a lot of fun, so I'll give it an A tier. Then we get on to the Guru and Crossroads of Destiny. Oh yeah, so Guru, a little bit boring, but phenomenal character and plot development because Aang decides to go for Katara instead of the Avatar state. So I'll put it in A since it's good, but the final one here, that's the one that goes to S just because of how phenomenal this is. Crossroads of Destiny, that was amazing. It's very sad about what Zuko did at the end, but I was really happy just to see that really great ending to the season. End of the second act, it's like our lowest low. That takes us on to Act 3, Book 3. Alright. And in this sequence, we get to the Awakening. Oh, this one, again, lowest low. Aang wakes up, he's on a Fire Nation ship. Very, very interesting sequence. I feel kind of bad for him, but really great opening to the third season, so A. Next up, we get to the Headband. Oh, this was so much fun, because we get to see Aang at school in the Fire Nation, and they're just kids. They're sort of being brainwashed, but he teaches them fun. This one is a really great episode. Then we get to the Painted Lady. We know that's actually just Katara, but it's a lot of fun. I didn't love this episode too much. Like, it was good, but I think that it just sort of creates more deception and more like we have to build. Katara's helping, but it doesn't serve the plot all that much. So I'll put it in B. Alright, next up, Sokka's Master. Oh, this is S tier. Sokka gets his moon sword. He gets to learn, like, he gets some skills. Because before he was just the master planner. So that is really amazing S tier episode. Then we get to the beach. Oh, this one is so funny. When we have the 4 kids who are just like crash the party and aren't really let in. It's a lot of fun. It's a fun sequence. So I think this one will have to go into S tier too. The Avatar and the Fire Lord. Ooh, this gives us the background on the whole war. It's really great plot development, and we get to see all of what happened. So that, I'd say, is just a fun episode. It doesn't advance the plot at all, but it gives us a lot of backstory. I don't like how we see it all in season 3 rather than earlier on, but I think it really does well to build the story of what's happening. So I'll put it into A tier. Alright, next up we get to the Runaway. Oh, I love this one. Toph running the scams, this is just amazing. So I'm gonna have to put this one into S tier. Wish they'd gotten the money and then they meet Sparky Boom guy. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. Then we get to the Puppet Master. Ooh, so Katara learns bloodbending. I did not love this episode. It was kind of dark and scary, but Katara gets some new skills. So it was really awesome. I'll put it into A, since it was good, but not the best. Then we get to Nightmares and Daydreams. Oh, this one, it felt like a filler episode. I know Aang was scared for the invasion, but really I don't think it served too much of a purpose other than just to show that, yeah, this is a big day coming up. So it's going to have to go into B tier for me. Alright, now we get to Day of the Black Sun. I think we actually have, yeah, part 1 and part 2. Both of these are amazing. We get to see the invasion. We get to see the fight. I was really sad we didn't get to see like any face-off with Ozai in this sequence. We sort of built it all up and then nothing happened. So the invasion will go into S, but because we didn't get to see Aang talk to Ozai at all, then I think we'll put this one into A. Actually, no, because this is where Zuko decides he's leaving, so that was just really great choice. This one will go into S tier too. That was awesome. Then we get bumped up to the Western Air Temple. Oh, this is where Zuko tries to come back and he stops Sparky Boom guy. This one, really, really heart-touching. I love this one. S tier. Most of these final episodes are all S tier after we do the world building at the start. Then we get to the Firebending Masters, another S tier episodes. Aang and Zuko go on a little field trip, meet the dragons. This one was amazing. We get to the 2-part Boiling Rock sequence, another amazing episode. They get to free all the people they lost in the invasion, and that was just a really amazing sequence. So again, 2 more S tier episodes. Alright, now we're coming close to the end. We've got Southern Raiders. I didn't like this episode. I know Katara's finding who killed her mom and then forgives him. Or doesn't forgive him, but doesn't kill him. So that, oh, and then she forgives Zuko at the end. That's a good like character development episode, but I didn't love the episode itself, so it'll have to go into A tier. Then we get the Ember Island Players. I did not love this episode. It's just a rehash of everything they had already seen, and it really puts them where they are now, ready for the final episode. I didn't love it. It's going to be B tier. Then we get to the 4-part Sozin's Comet. Oh, this is probably one of the best endings in television history. First we have they're on the beach planning. Again, a little bit boring, so this one will have to go into A tier just because it's building the world for the rest. Then we meet all the White Lotus members, all the old people, and we get everyone together. Absolute S tier. Then we get to have the big war, the big battle to stop the Fire Nation. Again, amazing. And then we get our final episode, and we get where Aang takes away Ozai's bending, and that was just an amazing ending. The good guys win. Really S tier show. That's why I'm doing this tier list. Really amazing. So that's what I have here. Let's see if I click save, download, log in. I'm not logging in. Oh, all right. Here's my tier list. I'll take a little screenshot of this. But that's my tier list for Avatar: The Last Airbender. Thank you so much all for watching. This is one of my milestones. Thanks again.